Hey, your viewers and viewresses! Welcome to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. My name is General Red Strategist, and today we're going to be reenacting World War II, specifically the fall of France in 1940. First up, it's quiet out in the Ardennes. The German forces, with their panzers and their massed infantry, are about to come moving forward to try and take out these valiant French defenders over here, who definitely are using their own tanks in a definitely correct and totally accurate manner. Don't question it, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, let's see just how the Germans were able to actually win this particular battle, and we're going to have to go straight into slow motion pretty much straight away, otherwise it's going to be a fucking nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. The panzers are on the move, they're on the prowl like the big cats they were named after, and yeah, they're using each other as springboards, it would seem. That's exactly what the Germans did in World War II. They used their own tanks as springboards for other tanks to speed things up a little bit, even though it's going to be a bit laggy. And now the shells are flying, explosions are striking the battlefield, the guns are firing, things are getting pretty hectic pretty fast. The French, so far, are holding out, but who knows how it's going to go once these German units close in with all their machine guns and rifles and God knows what else they've got, as well as their special, definitely Napoleonic looking flag bearers, who were definitely an actual totally accurate historical thing that the Germans definitely had in World War II. More explosions on the battlefield, some of the panzers are being taken out, but in the meantime the French flank is crumbling. Can this lone French tank over here stand up to the might of the German panzer divisions as they stream out from the Ardennes forest? Maybe, but who knows for how long, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, French infantry over on this side really are doing their very, very best. But then, oh shit, I just got hit by a fucking shell right to the fucking face. So many French people died as a result of that. Here we have this valiant squad over here. This is one of the problems that French soldiers in World War II faced. Their eyes were covered up by their helmets. They just couldn't see a fucking thing. And that's why they did so shit in World War II. Over here, meanwhile, this valiant French tank tries its best to hold out against all the friggin' machine gunners over here. They're firing away. This other German tank in the meantime is doing one heck of a move. You'd think it was an 80s action movie, ladies and gentlemen, but no. This is World War II, and this is exactly how it went. Oh shit, it just blew up. Well, that's no good, but at least they pulled off one sweet fucking move that will be remembered for years and years to come in history documentaries and the like. The French defence seems to be holding out relatively well, surprisingly well in fact, even though I could have sworn I designed this battle for the Germans to basically win every time, since that's pretty much what happened in the actual real-life World War II. Let's speed the footage up here, because I think we need to get things moving, even though it's going to be a little bit laggy with all these units. French tanks still firing. I'm amazed they've actually lasted this long. Oh god. The French tanks are actually starting to jump now. That was a secret ability that French tanks at World War II actually had. People don't realise this, but French tanks had a jumping ability. When push came to shove, and they were under heavy fire, they could dodge bullets by doing that jump. But I think they could only do it the once, hence why this one isn't jumping again. Oh shit, it appears we've got artillery raining down on the positions. The Germans have mastered their blitzkrieg combined arm manoeuvres, and it's working brutally, with brutal effectiveness. Look at that tank go up in smoke. The French are down to just one tank. Now they've got Germans pincering them from either side. Let's see, can this remaining force hold out? My money says no, because it's the French after all. And that was the end of the French defence in the Ardennes. Look at all those 3 achievements that we just got for that, and another 3 achievements in fact. Didn't know this, but the Germans got a lot of achievements after winning in the Ardennes. 8 of them in total, judging by the number of them coming up right now. And now, we come to the Meuse River, where the Germans were seeking to cross. Once again, we've got a valiant French army trying to hold them back. It's strange how they've got weird jackets that seem to change colour when you're a certain distance from them, but But that's a thing that other people just don't know about World War II. Let's see how this battle went. My money's on the Germans once again, because that's how it actually went in World War II. Once again, we're going to have to go into slow motion, because shit's about to get real, yo. The German tanks are heading towards the bridgehead. Will they cross the Meuse successfully? Probably. But then again, this one seems to be heading towards the river itself. Why is that, ladies and gents? Looks like the French have already lost one of their tanks, as well as a lot of their infantry. But they got rifles hiding behind here, behind the haystacks. Oh shit, German panzers are already taking a bit of a hit. Will it provide a bit of an obstacle to prevent the rest of their armour coming across, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows? Well, of course I know, because I set this battle up pretty much just like I did with the last one. So I don't know why I'm acting surprised, because I know how this is going to go. See, look at this. This is the other friggin' strength of German tanks. My god, look at that move that's been pulled off there. And this one over here that went straight through the water like an absolute pro. And now the French tanks are going to have to move. They can't sit in their one position for ages. Oh man. That tank there was just exposing its underbelly. Tank doctrine necessitates that one doesn't do that if one's driving armour. Otherwise you expose your soft underside. More explosions in the background. Some hot tank-on-tank action going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't it just get you very flustered and very hot under the collar? No? Well, that's probably just me being a bit weird then, isn't it, ladies and gents? Here comes the artillery bombardment from the German side, but it looks like they're kind of hitting a bit of their own. Or blowing up French tanks, even. Forget what I just said about hitting their own. I was completely fucking wrong, it seems. Once again, the French defence seems to have been decimated. Back here we have that noble French officer, l'officier Big Head. That guy, the one who led this famous little rifle squad over here. And when I say famous, infamous for the fact that they just stood there like a bunch of pussies as artillery shells rained down on top of them. Meanwhile, the guys up here on the balcony, they've not had a good time of it either, just instantly falling off. The French have still got 2 tanks in the fray at the moment. Will these things be able to hold up the German advance? My money's on no, probably not, especially judging by the fact that this one just exploded. This other one, meanwhile, is trying to pull off that same move that German tanks were pulling off back in the Ardennes. It's kind of doing it at the moment, but is it going to get stuck? Yes, it is, and then it's going to get taken out by long-range AT shells. And in the meantime, the German infantry are massing. They're having a bit of trouble with those friggin' destroyed tanks. This is a common problem that the German forces faced when they were trying to take over France. They often got stuck behind the friggin' tank wrecks and just didn't know what they were doing because their pathing just didn't enable them to get along. But luckily the tank wrecks sink into the ground, and now the Germans are fully seizing the advantages of that bridgehead that they've secured. We have French rifles over here. It's a bit overkill to be using your artillery strike on just common infantry, but hey, in warfare you gotta do what you gotta do. And that is it. Once more, a German victory. A successful German victory. Can the French stop this German blitzkrieg as it sweeps across their country? I don't think so. And now we come to the Battle of Arras. The scene of the city of Arras will see some urban warfare, World War II style. On the one hand we have a combined British and French force trying to invade the city. Can they take out the German defenders over here? My money says no, they probably can't. Let's see how it played out. And once again we're going to have to go into slow motion because there's so many fucking units at play here. That's the thing. You think with games like Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, which can sometimes handle really big amounts of units, the Totally Accurate Battle Simulator would be similar, but no. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator's units are so much better and so much more complex. What am I talking about? Not Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. This is definitely a totally legit World War II documentary that you're watching. Here comes the German artillery strike, raining down on the French and British tanks. Oh shit. That's a lot of tanks just destroyed in one go, including this final one over here. Smoke fills the battlefield. Oh, look at all those French people being blown apart. Hot damn. That's just what you'd expect to see. The French didn't do well in the fall of France, hence why it's called the Fall of France, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, German panzers, some of them are remaining static, One of them's going in like an absolute fucking mad lad. More artillery rains down on the battlefield. In the meantime, the German snipers up here, they're facing the wrong way entirely. That was another problem that the German snipers at Aras had. They just couldn't tell where the fucking battle actually was. This guy over here, he ain't got a fucking clue. Nor is his pal. Meanwhile, the German tanks are pulling off their super awesome move again. Oh shit, that didn't work out in their favour, it seems. I'm not entirely sure whose artillery that actually is that's coming in there. Maybe it's the German ones, giving friendly fire. Maybe it's the Allies, I'm not entirely certain. But in the meantime, tons of German infantry are now moving out. Got their fucking machine guns ready. They're going to be opening up at any point. I don't know why you've got your guns pointing off there to the side like that, when the enemy's actually in front of you over there. In the meantime, more artillery's coming down on the enemy. I think the Germans just lost another panzer to their own friendly fire by the looks of it. Another common problem in World War II. For some reason, these factions were just incapable of coordinating their artillery and tank movements at the same time. The British infantry there, really giving it what for, with this old British technique of holding your rifle behind your back. Yeah, worked all the time. I don't even know what the fuck just happened there with that weird smoke trail, but whatever. It might have been a flag bearer, I don't know. My god, there's actually a few French infantry still alive. How has this happened? This totally, definitely isn't accurate at all. By now you would have thought that the French would have surrendered, but no, apparently not. Not according to this documentary, ladies and gentlemen. Now the British have got their own artillery raining down, but will it be enough? Probably not, just saying. Meanwhile, the German snipers up here, some of them are starting to realise where the battle is, but a couple of others are still fucking clueless. They don't know what's going on. Artillery's coming back down again. Not a destroyed German tank, but they still got 3 back over here. And they were wise. They held back. They knew that this was dangerous if they got too close. Now look at that real-time artillery strike, ladies and gentlemen. And listen to the sound as well. It's a little known fact about warfare, but sometimes when you're fighting a war, you've got to go into slow motion. Otherwise the sound cuts out if you're in real-time speed and all that. There's only a few stragglers left on the Allied force now. Oh damn, that Frenchie just got friggin' served up there, didn't he? And who's this motherfucker up here, who just got flown into the wall? He's glitching in, his leg's stuck in the wall and he's just gonna hang there forevermore. A true casualty of conflict. Look at all those bullets flying around. Who's this motherfucker who's just got his gun stuck on the fucking stairwell? Another common problem faced by British soldiers in World War II. Getting their guns stuck on the stairwells. Well, we'll leave him to do his thing in a bit. In the meantime... Oh, Jesus! Wow. Try not to shoot the cameraman who's filming this documentary, German side. More artillery comes down now. Somehow they're actually resisting these shots. But I don't think they'll be resisting for much longer. There's still a large number of German troops left. And more artillery inbound. Hot damn. That guy really took it like a champ, didn't he? He's taken a lot of shots like an absolute champ. Who would have thought it? There's more gunfire coming in. Oof. Even a shot right to the crotch can't stop this valiant soldier. He's trying his best, he really, really is. But soon, he won't be able to take any more of this punishment. And there he goes. But now, I think we're just left with the one lone straggler of the British Army at the Battle of Arras. This motherfucker up here, who just seems to be completely fucking stuck. Is he going to move? Is he ever going to move that gun off there? Or is he going to have to wait for the German infantry to come in and deal with him? My money is on the latter, ladies and gentlemen. See, that guy in the background, he agrees with me. He says, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. The snipers, once again, have forgotten where the battlefield actually is. They're just facing the completely wrong fucking direction. And now, the Germans are closing in on Timmy Taphead up here, who's about to get his ass shot. Somebody's shooting artillery. They're having a bit of trouble firing at each other, but they may just do it. Well, and there we go. And that's what you don't need in an enclosed space. MG42's closing in on you, ladies and gents. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Siege of Calais. British and French forces, or rather in this case actually just British forces, before I forget, have retreated to Calais. The British Expeditionary Force isn't doing well. They need to survive until the transports to take them away back to the UK homeland can arrive. But the Germans are closing in. The tanks are a little bit stuck, but they're firing. Jesus. That thing's going all over the place. Hopefully it doesn't end up blasting its own troops, which they are sometimes wont to do, the tanks in this game. The Germans have already lost one panzer over here. The British defenders are on the rooftops. They've taken all the defensive positions. Panzers inbound, ladies and gents. Oh no, not anymore. But there is artillery coming in. The British tanks back here, they know what to do in this urban combat scenario. Just hang back and hope for the best. You guys, don't know what you're fucking doing. You're not supposed to be jumping off the rooftops like that, but whatever. I'm sure it's fine. Now the Germans are closing in. They're trying their best. But can the British survive just long enough? Holy shit. A fucking artillery strike, though. More artillery comes down in this street. The Germans are trying their best. See, this guy over here was momentarily trying that under-the-back British gunfire technique, but it didn't work for him, because it only really works for British soldiers, apparently. Look at that fucking mighty-ass machine gun this guy got here, and this one coming up behind him as well. I'm amazed he can even hold that thing. Feels like the weight would be all off, but that's totally accurate battle sim for you. In the meantime, the German forces over here are desperately trying to fight down the street. They're almost getting there, but they've got to deal with British tanks and artillery. Oof. That was a big explosion. How many of them survived? Quite a few of them, actually, in fact. Oh, but not from that one, they didn't. As long as these tanks can hold up the pass, or the street, rather, I think we'll be okay. And hopefully they don't friendly fire each other with their artillery. Holy shit, it's chaos out here. Chaos on the Western Front, ladies and gents. That British guy was just doing the under-the-friggin-back rifle usage once again, but he failed this time. And here's the artillery strikes coming in there. I was wondering what that was for a second. I thought the map had glitched out momentarily. Well, the British forces survived just long enough. And now, having won out at Calais, it's up to the British and combined French forces to try and hold off the Germans long enough for the transports to take them away back to the safety of England. But the Germans aren't going to make this easy. They've got panzers, they've got everything. They would also have air forces, but there's no actual airborne aircraft units in this game. I would have had to use Valkyries and other ones in order to do that, and that would have looked just silly, wouldn't it, ladies and gents? Because it's definitely hasn't been silly so far at all. Artillery strikes from the German side raining down on the transport. They really decimated a number of the British infantry over there. But so far they're holding out real well, trying their best to prevent this friggin' armoured assault on the troop transport ship. Up here we have these valiant British officers overseeing this battle. This guy behind, he's definitely trying to see what's going on, but his companions here just keep getting in the way. Another common problem faced by British forces in World War II. Some of their officers just were a bit rowdy, whilst others just got shoved into the background. Meanwhile, their French allies over here are blazing away as best as they can, and their own officers are up here as well. This guy back here's got a long neck. This was Officer Longueneck. As you can see, he's desperately trying to aim his gun around his comrade's side, but not really doing a very good job of it. Can these British and French forces survive long enough? Or are they going to get decimated before they can see dear England once again? Well, a lot of the tanks, it seems, have all blown up. That's what happens when tanks try to have one big friggin' tank orgy. It all goes wrong. Commonly, this was a problem for the German panzers in World War II, especially during the Battle for France. The British forces have taken a lot of losses so far. They really need to avoid being clustered up like that if they're to avoid being blown apart by these German artillery strikes. But the French over here, they've taken comparatively fewer losses, which is surprising, and they're actually holding out well. Still not surrendered just yet, but there's still time just yet, don't you worry. The Germans, meanwhile, they're a bit stuck on these ammo crates over here. Typical German problem, really, isn't it? And we got giant numbers on the screen when I go into full speed mode. That's not what we want. That definitely didn't happen in World War II. But then again, maybe it did. Maybe at big battles out there during the war, whether it was D-Day, the beaches of Normandy, or Operation Husky, the deserts of North Africa, or the bleak and desolate battlefields of the Eastern Front. Maybe they always had giant numbers flickering across the sky, just like you see right now. Well, I'm desperately watching those numbers very closely. 15 more seconds. Can the Allied forces survive this long? Possibly. As long as these French people actually pull their fucking weight. Look at this motherfucker down here. Look at this child soldier. Probably only 16 years old, probably lied about his age, as so many of them did. Or was that a First World War thing? Then again, it might have been both wars. I don't know. I should have probably read up on that before I actually started recording this video. This German officer over here, doing some kind of matrix dodge to avoid being shot by various projectiles. Holy shit. They just friendly fired this dude, but he's holding on. British soldiers are actually getting so eager for the fray here that they're almost jumping off their own boat. Man, it's like they don't want to go back to England. It's like they want to stay in France, even though it's suicide to actually do that. But look at them go. Doing the usual under-the-back technique. Holy shit. Now that was a recoil and a half, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? There aren't many Germans left, and with less than 10 seconds to go. Oh my god. Look at this. Well, this is definitely not accurate. The French charging towards their enemy? Who would have thunk it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get into full speed. And as you can see, it's laggy as shit. So we're going to go back into slow-mo for just these final 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 more seconds. And the Germans will have lost. The remaining Allied forces are going to be able to set sail once again for England and live to fight another day. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. And these guys up here, look at those faces. They're satisfied. They're smug. They know that they've won, basically. And now, just before France falls to the enemy, suddenly, the fucking Italians decide they want to get involved. Crossing the Alps, ladies and gentlemen, with this big-ass force of theirs. Look at all these fucking infantry over here. Well, I can tell you this is going to be a foregone conclusion, because Italy in World War II got absolutely trounced on pretty much every battlefield they were ever on. Let's see how the French actually did it. For once, the French can claim a victory here, if they can survive for just 50 seconds. They've got their advance party who are going to go out and intercept these incoming Italian troops before they can cause any real damage. And once again, flying big numbers on the screen. Hopefully the tanks won't end up busting their own troops. Boom, bitch! Or as we should say to them, because they're Italian, a boom a bitcha! Well, these Italian alpine troops, they're trying their best, they really are. They're even throwing bombs, but it looks like they're going to end up blowing up some of their own troops, if we're honest. See, just like that. Damn. Those Italians, like I say, they just didn't do very well in World War II and all that. In fact, they were so shit that even the French could beat them. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's wait until the battle's over before we start calling it. Though then again, I am just going to call it right now. The French are going to win, because I've tested this battle so many times in tabs. There's no way the French can lose here. Now that I've said that, I hope I don't end up having to eat my own words, because it looks like they've actually decimated the immediate French guard, and there's still Italian troops coming in, but they've still got those tanks over there, and Still being able to blow up a few of these guys. Oh god. Right, the Italians are sending artillery bombardments in, it appears. The Italians have learned what artillery does. But I really hope that the Italians don't win here. Otherwise this is going to be very embarrassing for me, having just pronounced that even the French can win this one. Don't fucking let me down now, Frenchies. You've only got 10 seconds to win. You can do this. Just eat some of those baguettes and cheese, fuel yourselves up, and I'm sure you'll be fine against these Italian pizza lovers. Yes, thank God for that. Look at this decimation over here, ladies and gentlemen. And that was that, ladies and gentlemen, a reenactment of the fall of France in World War II. I hope you learned something today. I hope that was a good history lesson for you. If you want to see me reenact more World War II battles in tabs, please leave a like and comment below, because I'm sure there's a load of other theatres of World War II that I could easily do totally historically accurate reenactments of. Other than that, Facebook and Twitter links down below, ladies and gentlemen, along with a link to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. But other than that, if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, like I said, and I'll see you for hopefully some more tabs content sometime fairly soon. Goodbye, everybody.
I can swim!
And here comes a fairly ridiculous part. We're going to swim up a waterfall, like so. Got to spam the fire key in order to swim. Oh shit, shiver me timbers. Those are piranhas. Yeah, no. No you don't, you bitch. Bitches. Oh god, there's a lot of you. Oh, look at that pretty scenery. Yeah. Stop it. Did we make it? We made it. Easy. I remember when I first played that as a teenager, at first I didn't really get what I was doing. I kept failing it, which really was incompetence on my part. Next bonus level in 8,758 points. That's good. Okay.